The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 is expected to pass this Friday. So, what does that mean for you? How is this going to affect you, Joe Average voter, Joe Average American citizen? Does this affect you at all? You better believe it. It is going to affect you. So in today's special coaching video, I'm going to give you the broad strokes of this bill, basically the parts that most of the mainstream media is conveniently not telling you about, right? But I'm going to tell you here in today's coaching video. So the very first thing you need to know about this bill is if you're in the market for an electric vehicle, it's your lucky day because you are going to get a $7,500 tax credit from the government. Okay, so you get $7,500 credit if you buy a Tesla or a GM electric vehicle. I believe it has to be either of those two brands. I did not see like Polestar on there. I'm starting to see more Polestars on the road, but I didn't see Polestar on there. I could be wrong. So you might want to read it if you're thinking about buying a Polestar or a Fisker. Are they still in business? Didn't see them on there either. But Tesla, GM vehicles, electric vehicles, you're going to get a $7,500 tax credit for if you buy new. If you buy a used one, you're going to get a $4,000 tax credit. So that is probably the main positive. If you're in the market for an electric car, me personally, I'm probably not going to buy an electric car anytime in the near future just because I don't have the patience for them. I like to just put in my gas and go. And I also don't like the fact that a lot of these electric cars don't have buttons. I like lots of buttons. I'm just old school that way. I don't want to be focusing on this one main motherboard computer screen in the middle of the car and no buttons anywhere. I mean, that's, I'm sure it looks futuristic and everything, but I like buttons, right? What do you expect? I have a DeLorean. Okay, now another part of this bill, before I get to the really juicy part, another part of this bill is it's going to lower drug costs, right? Prescription drug costs, which a lot of Americans are happy about. Oh yeah, costs of my drugs are going down. Of course they're going to lower drug costs. Why? Because they want you to be more coked up on a lot of these drugs that will put you to sleep, keep you in lower consciousness, prevent you from being alert, awake, and seeing what's going on in the world, right? So, of course they're going to want to coke you up on drugs. Funny, because this chick that I used to date used to take these like melatonin gummy bears that would help her sleep, and a lot of times she tried to encourage me to take them, and I said no, I don't even take aspirin. And she's like, what if you have a headache? And I'm like, I just go to sleep. And then she was all, well, you should really take some of these melatonin gummies if you have problems sleeping. And I'm like, no, because like any drug, once you start taking it, the more your body becomes acclimated to it and the higher dosage you're going to need. So I go, yeah, sure, today, because she was like, no, just take a half a gummy. I'm like, yeah, today it'll be half a gummy. Next year right now, I'll be taking a full gummy. See me 5 years after that, I'll be taking like 5 gummies just to go to sleep. No, it's okay. I don't need drugs in my system. God gave me everything I need right here, okay? And I don't need the drugs, right? If anything, I just need to eat cleaner if, I'm having problems sleeping, right? Cut out the caffeine or whatever else is preventing me from sleeping. But yeah, I'm not into taking drugs on any level. I live a very holistic lifestyle, and I encourage you to do the same. Helps keep me alert, awake in life, and aware of the lies of the Matrix, right? So another part of this bill, very, very huge part of this bill that the left are not talking about, is the fact that they are going to weaponize the Internal Revenue Service, and they're going to give them $80 billion to do what? To go after the rich? They're going to tax the rich? Finally, they're going to tax the rich. No, they're not going to tax the rich. They're actually going to tax you, right? They're giving them that money to go audit people who are making less than $200,000. Okay? Again, you have to read this bill because a lot of the, even the White House press secretary said, no, it's not true. You're going to go after people making over $400,000. No, that's a flat out lie. She's lying, right? They are going to be going after people like you, and mostly it's going to hit people making less than $25,000 a year, and then the next tier is under 50,000, and I believe the next tier is under 75,000. You're going to get hit the hardest. There's going to be 6 times more audits than previous years. Okay, so if you're an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, if you drive for DoorDash, if you have a side gig going, if you have a little online business, they will probably come after you. Okay. What about all those rich people, wealthy people on Wall Street? They're giving them tax breaks. What have I told you guys about the lie that the left constantly sells every freaking election? We're gonna tax the rich. They're not paying their fair share. They've got to pay their fair share. Does it look like they're making them pay their fair share? No, they're coming after you to make them pay, right? To make up for the taxes that they're not paying, they're gonna come after you, the little guy. That's what they're gonna do. And obviously in this bill, there's all sorts of money, your money. I mean, because really, where does the government get their money? Basic economics here. Anybody want to guess where the government gets their money? They get it from you, right? The taxpayers, because they can't make a single move without your money. Yet we're not allowed to vote on these bills. We're not allowed to stop these bills from passing. No, they could just pass these in the middle of the night, which they essentially did, right? They were trying to sweep this thing under the rug as quickly as possible, because if the elements of this bill got out there and the American public had time to look at it and, there was outrage, then they'd be in trouble, right? I mean, then they'd get a lot of backlash. So passing this bill in the middle of the night, so you as the voter wouldn't have time to fuss about it, to learn more about it, to read about it, and instead sweeping everything under the rug, like literally in the middle of the night, so you wouldn't know what's going on. I mean, does this sound like transparency to you? Does this sound like the adults are back in charge, which is what they claimed when they took the office in 2020? I mean, really? There was one holdout, by the way. Her name was Kristen Sinema. She was like, nope, this bill's not good for the American public. And she wanted certain changes in that bill. Were the changes to decrease the size of the IRS and not go after ordinary citizens like you? No. The reason she was holding out was because of her donors on Wall Street that wanted to keep their tax loopholes. So there you go. There go your transparent leftist caring politicians. They care so much about the little people. They're trying to work for you. They're trying to tax the rich. They're trying to get rid of these evil corporations and these evil people on Wall Street. No, they're funding them, man. Okay? They're funding them. When will you people learn? Right? And I mean, this is the thing that I can't stand about just politicians in general, is when they lie like this. But especially when one side accuses the other side of lying, it's like, you lie too. What are you talking about? Right? Just be honest. Regardless, guys, so for all of you guys who voted for these politicians, basically the Biden party, this is what they're going to do to you. Okay, and I did a whole video about this, the rare videos that I do on politics, and this is probably going to be the last one. The rare videos that I do on it, I did one on the 2020 election and why I would never support the left. And a lot of it wasn't like, oh yeah, go Trump, MAGA, and all this. No, the main reason I don't support the left is because all they want to do is grow the size of government. And right now, the government is in your life. Like, you cannot make a move without their permission, right? You cannot make a move without being taxed, right? I mean, even if you go to the store, you want to buy a bottle of water, you're going to get taxed for water, right? You want to buy something, you want to give yourself a treat, get yourself a soda. Now, not only are you going to be taxed on that soda, but you also have to pay a soda tax, right? You want to put some gas in your car, you got to pay tax, so in my humble opinion, we should only have a consumption tax. I believe the consumption tax would pay for everything. Why are they taxing us up the wazoo for every little thing we do? It's because we let them get away with it, right? What are they doing with that money? They're just spending it frivolously. What happens to that money? You don't know. right? They don't have to tell you. They don't have to be transparent, right? That money just goes into whatever projects that they think that their constituents and their voters are going to want to see that will help them get reelected, right? And it's not helping you. So I'm always for candidates that want to decrease the size of government. Obviously, all of these politicians are essentially just puppets, right? For their donors, for their constituencies. But I'm for any politician or any puppet, if you want to call them that wants to decrease the size of government, right? And I'm tired of hearing these guys all talk a big game, but not taking any action. Right? However, right now, the left is in charge, and everybody. The reason why I'm harping on them so much is not only because they've become the establishment, but because so many people thought that they were going to save the universe. As soon as evil Donald Trump was out of office, they were going to save the universe. Does it look like they're saving the universe? I mean, gas prices are still $3 more than what they were just a couple of years ago. Inflation's still sky high. Used car prices are still through the roof. And, I'm not going to pin that all on Biden, but because Trump started issuing these stimulus checks, I was against that. Shutting down essentially the entire economy during the pandemic, I was totally against that as well, because now we're paying for it. And now, because we have so much debt, really, the only way to get rid of our debt is, guess what? The only way to get rid of inflation is to do what? To stop government spending, right? Government needs to stop spending money. They need to stop printing money. Imagine you being in a relationship with a chick, right? And she has your credit card. Not that you would ever do this, because you're part of my dating programs, 33 Secrets. You would never do this, right? But in a hypothetical world, you give your girl your credit card and all she does is spend, and you're looking at these bills. You're like, oh my gosh, I owe trillions of dollars now. Would the answer be to go, here, honey, here's a new credit card. Spend your way out of this? No, you would take back her credit card. You would ban her from making any financial decisions from this point on, and you would not let her spend another penny, would you? Because that's the only way to decrease your debt. But no. What did the Dems just do? They're going to take like $700-800 billion of your money. We're almost $1 trillion again. And they're going to go and essentially fund these projects that their donors and their lobbyists are twisting their arms to fund, even though many of these projects don't pan out. They have such a boner right now for climate change. It's like, are we affecting the climate on some level? Yes. Is it to the level that they're hyperbolizing and sensationalizing and trying to make you believe that it's all doom and gloom and scaremongering into thinking that the world is going to end in the next decade? It's over for us. Oh my God, we're at a turning point right now. It's now or never. No, absolutely not, man. They're lying their asses off to you. Okay, because the Earth is designed to expand and contract. It's designed to handle these elements. Obviously, we are contributing to. I don't even want to say climate change, but we are polluting the air to some degree, obviously, right? I live in LA, so you can see it in the sky. It's disgusting. It's gross. So I agree. We need to do something about that, right? However, the answer is not to spend billions of your money to go audit people who are just trying to get by, who are living paycheck to paycheck, and, are just trying to put food on the table for their families. I have family members too. It's not like just because I'm successful, like everyone in my family is successful. No, I'm like literally the only one that I know of. I have a couple of family members that have done well. Like I've mentioned before, my uncle was a pilot for the airlines, like the major commercial airlines for a long time. He was a fighter pilot before then. He bought real estate during that time, so he's doing okay. But really, I'm trying to think that those are the only ones in my family. Yet everybody is like pretty much struggling, and and sadly, many of them, not all of them, but many of them voted left, man. And so it's hard. It's really hard for me to totally feel sorry for them because they voted for this. However, that's what's in this bill, guys. And you know what? If if you're still voting left in today's world, you're part of the problem. All you're doing is giving the government more and more power. They are just like this beast, this ugly, disgusting, repulsive beast that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and getting into your life more and more and more, like the Thing, right? It's just they keep getting your life more and more and more and taking and taking and taking and never giving back. What do they give you, right? What do they give you back? What do you get back from them? Really, not much, right? You might think, oh, well, how are we going to pay for these roads, right? The roads we drive on. Well, what do you think we have the gas tax for? Right? What do you think we have all of these consumption taxes for? Again, that should really be the only tax there that exists. I mean, if you really want to know where taxes started, they started during the war, right? I believe it was the First World War. The first income tax was supposed to be something that was temporary to pay for the war, and then after the war was over, remove the income tax. Did they ever do that? No. As Ronald Reagan once said, there's no such thing as a temporary government program. It's always permanent, right? And it scares, it really, really frightens me that the government is as big as it is right now, where they can literally come in to your life, reach in your pockets, take your money, take your house, take your wife, take your kid. They can literally do that. They can take your kids, right? I mean, you see it happening all the time. The government is way too big. And the government is essentially the Matrix, right? They're the ones that are the oligarchs right now. They have control over you. They have power over you. So I'm for any candidate that wants to decrease the size of government, right? The government should not be as big as it is now. It is just gigantic, and it just baffles my mind that people want to make it even bigger. I mean, why would you want more places to look like the DMV? Why would you want, more places to look, more businesses to be as inefficient as the Postal Service, right? And they're going to get a bunch of money too. They're going to get a few $billion too to buy new postal trucks and improve their service so they can compete with UPS and FedEx, who are doing a way better job. So yeah, it just blows my mind that people out there still vote left, because essentially when you're voting left, I mean, aside from all the wokeness and like, oh, we have to be kind to immigrants and all this. And even that, guys, I mean, even that, you could see the blatant hypocrisy, because now I believe it's the governor of Texas are sending the illegal immigrants that he's getting that are crossing the border. He's sending them right to Washington. And now they're complaining. They want to call it a National Guard because they got 4,000 immigrants when the governor of Texas is dealing with 43,000 illegal immigrants. He just sent them 4,000, and they're losing their minds. It's like, try dealing with 43,000. Does the mainstream news report on that? No, right? They don't. But now they're all up in arms. Oh, yeah, now it's hitting us. That's what I can't stand about the left, is a lot of them are very rich elites, right? They live in Martha's Vineyard. They live in the Hamptons. They live in Presidio Heights. I mean, Nancy Pelosi has a $10 million house in San Francisco on the other side of town from where I was born and raised. Newsom also has a multi-million-dollar mansion. Hey, why don't you take in some of these homeless people? You have plenty of rooms at your mansion. Take them in, right? I mean, I would believe in what they're espousing more if they actually lived by what they preach, right? But they don't. It's like they don't even want it in their neighborhood, because the second it affects their neighborhood or even their district, they lose their minds. Right? As long as you're dealing with a homeless problem or illegal immigration, we don't want it in our neighborhood, even though we're proposing that. I mean, the hypocrisy is just unreal. Okay? So, yeah, I just can't stand that about the left. Right? They just don't live what they preach. But at the end of the day, beyond all the wokeness, beyond the immigration, and the homeless, even that, in this Inflation Reduction Act, are any of these cities, counties getting money to deal with their homeless problem, to deal with illegal immigration? No, absolutely not. This is all going to fund like climate change and whatever side projects they have, right? It's not going to that. Oh, and the IRS is getting like $80 billion so they could get more, so they could hire 87,000 more agents to do what? To audit you, to pay for all this, to pay for all the damage that they did during the pandemic where they shut down the economy. You, Mr. Right? You, Mr. making less than 200,000 a year. You have to pay for this. They're not going to pay for this. Look at the government. They come in, the politicians, they come in, they screw everything up, and then you are on the hook to pay for their mistakes. Enough, guys. Enough is enough, right? Yes, they're all puppets, but you know what? Let's get rid of the puppets that keep trying to grow the size of government, that aren't even doing what they're saying they're going to do, like for humanity and kindness and the homeless. They're not even helping them. They're just shipping them off to other people's districts, mostly Republican areas, for you to deal with. Now they want to start putting them in suburbs of middle class working families. Right? But how come the elites that, again, they live in the Hamptons, they live in these multi-zillion dollar neighborhoods with mansions, how come you don't take any of them in? Oh yeah, not in my neighborhood, as long as they're in yours, you deal with it. I can't stand that about the left, right? The right does, they have their own. They do things that are a little shady too, but at least they're pretty congruent with it. I mean, the right is all about capitalism, making money and getting rich, and they don't hide that, right? And they want you to be rich too. They don't hide that. So at least I can respect the congruency. Whereas the left, they try to act like they're these saints, and they're not. They're just wolves in disguise, right? They're just wolves in disguise, because look at what they're doing now with this Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, that should be a fraud right there, calling it an Inflation Reduction Act when it's going to do anything but reduce inflation. It's going to cause more inflation. It's going to cause more pain at the pumps. I mean, do you really want to pay, do you enjoy $8 gas prices? Do you enjoy $10 Big Macs? Do you enjoy $30 chicken or $50 steak? I mean, at what point do you go, hey man, my party sucks. Something's wrong here. Okay. And I try to be as unbiased as possible. I'm not left or right. I always have to say that because people, especially these days, extreme right winger. And that's another thing, guys. The rhetoric is so dangerous these days, because now the machine, the matrix, the government, the establishment is basically telling all their pundits on the mainstream news, the matrix news, to brainwash citizens everywhere to believe that if you disagree, if you don't toe the line, if you're not part of support our political candidates, you're a domestic terrorist. They're literally saying that. If you believe in freedom, liberty, you want to have your own free thoughts, you don't like, you don't want to be part of this like madness of indoctrinating children at 4 years old or transitioning them at, while they're still babies. You're a domestic terrorist. You're a domestic terrorist. They're literally brainwashing people with this rhetoric right now. So if you can't see it, I can't help you, right? But I mean, this is why I say, guys, if you're still voting left, please, I mean, I don't want to tell you what to do. I mean, the evidence is out there, right? If you literally need bigger government and you need government to help you and come save you, you're just a loser, right? If you can't get it done on your own, you're just a loser, right? No matter who's in office, you need to be able to get it done, regardless. But as always, guys, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of today's coaching video. Anything I might have missed, anything you'd like to share, drop them in the comments below. This is probably one of the last... I don't even think it's like really political. I mean, this is a bill that's going to pass. It's going to affect you, right? It's going to affect you more than it affects me, because, I have accountants, I have attorneys, whereas most people making under 200 grand don't. They don't, and so when you get these tax bills, you're just going to have to pay them. Otherwise, you don't have any resources to help you, right? That's why they're coming after you, because they know they can, right? So there you go. There's your tax the rich. Did they tax the rich in this bill? No, they're taxing you. Wake up. Drop your comments below. Until next time.